going on, everyone? Welcome back for another week of the Final Points. I'm your host, Dom Cintorino, joined as always by Matt Gannon. Matt, playoff time.
Playoffs. Let's get after it. I'm hype. I'll be there next week. I'm excited for this time.
Yeah, it's final 3 years of the 2022 or 2021-2022 season. A lot of good weeks coming up with the playoffs and then the Korn Ferry Tour finals, seeing who is going to get their PGA Tour card in about a month or so here. So fresh page in September, but until then, we got 3 more events. This week, the St. Jude Classic or Championship, whatever you want to call it, Invitational. This tournament has been bounced around so many different places. It's unbelievable. It went from a very low-end field that Daniel Berger just destroyed when he was in his early 20s, mid-20s, to a WGC that we've seen the last couple of years, and now it's the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. So, course, I don't think it's going to be all that tough. We've seen the last couple winners be 13-16. The cut line from 2009 to 2018 before it turned into a no-cut event was 1 over to 3 over. Now the field's down to, I believe, 120. So we're going to see at least 55% make it through the cut.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the winning score will be 15 under because they got a lot of rain this past 2 days. So a little softer. I'm going to say 15 under wins it this week.
What are you looking at this week? I know obviously approach ball striking is massive. Everybody has been pounding that into the ground all week long, but outside of that, is there anything else that you're looking at for this week?
Yeah, obviously ball striking, but I think I'm higher on Bermuda putting than most people are. I think because the narrative that JT won without putting is okay, so anyone who cannot putt will win here. I mean, yeah, it could happen, but I really am digging deep into Bermuda putters. I'm going to play a lot of good Bermuda putters this week, especially in DFS.
And Justin Thomas's upside weeks, he doesn't even really have to putt.
Right.
If he's putting it within 3 feet on every approach shot.
They're Henley approach.
Exactly. So, things that I was looking at, par 4 scoring from 450 to 5 a little bit. I actually threw birdie or better in there. I know some people took the bogey avoidance route, but I want guys who are making birdie. I mean, you're going to see double digits through a majority of the top of the leaderboard. I don't think much is going to change there. Good drives gained kind of goes along with the whole ball striking thing, making sure that you're hitting greens. Scrambling was one that I did land on and ended up throwing it in my model. Answer led the field last year in scrambling.
I did.
Sam Burns was 5th. Matsuyama was 16th. Harris English 22nd. Casey 3rd. Berger 25th. So everyone that finished in the top 5 were top 25 in scrambling. Only 2 were outside of the top 16. So it proved to be important last year. These greens are extremely small, and you're going to want to get up and down. It's not a birdie fest by any means, but I still think you want to give yourself opportunities. And if you're missing greens, which you don't want to be ever, that's the one thing I think people hold back on using scrambling as a stat in their model. You're going to want somebody who can at least show some life in terms of that. So outside of that, I did overall proximity a very little bit, just with these small greens, guys who are hitting it close consistently. But outside of that, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward ball strike. I think this is ball striker's paradise, as most PGA Tour courses are, but I think this is one where the elite of the elite will separate themselves from the field.
Yep, and I talked about it on me and Sam's show last night, but I've been comparing this to Colonial quite a bit. Looking at Hunter's event and course preview, the two are almost identical.
So it's Spieth week.
Yeah, I got Spieth.
I got Spieth as well.
Par 70, just over 7,200 yards, very similar yardage. They both have the same structure of holes, 4 par 3s, 12 4s, and 2 5s. Colonial has a decent amount of water in play, a lot of dog legs, just like we're seeing this week. So kind of looked at that leaderboard, who's had success there in the past long-term. I like looking at this year's leaderboard because you get a lot of first-timers who are making their playoff debut. But one thing to kind of note as I go through this Colonial is a comp course that I'll be looking at this week. Let's jump into the pricing.
Let's get it.
10K range, pretty busy here. I'm fading.
All of it?
So I will have some Scotty.
Okay. We're aligned. We're aligned there.
That could honestly do it. Because once we get to the 9s, it doesn't stop for me.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, all right. I'm on 2 guys here. I'm on Scotty and JT. So in this range, you're picking hairs. There's all these guys are great. I'm on Scotty because, I mean, what am I going to say? His stats are all amazing. He has a great finish here in the times he's played. And I don't think Rory's playing out of his mind right now. He just took those 3 weeks off, said he hasn't touched a golf club. Okay, that's a narrative for me to run with. I'm on Scotty. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. And it was also some ownership thing. I'm seeing Scotty around 14%.
Yeah.
A 14% Scotty is like, I will play with that for sure. And I don't play Scotty much, which is like, probably burned me more than it has helped me. But I'm on Scotty this week to start most of my lineups.
And lost in a playoff at Colonial.
Yep, there's your narrative for sure.
I mean, he was in unbelievable form, but it's still there. He was at a similar track and performed well. So, what do you got on JT?
He is arguably the best approach player in the majority of these key bucket ranges, and I'm not gonna dive too deep in the 25 bucket ranges, but when he goes 25 to 25 to 25, and like it's a very consistent among all those bucket ranges, That's pretty legit. So, and what's going to be the X factor for JT is how often he can hit these fairways. We know he's a great driver of the golf ball when he's on, but when he tries to do too much, I think he gets into trouble. And there was a narrative this week: how's the back? Presser, they asked how the back is. He said it's not a concern at all. He withdrew from the Travelers before the Open just because he wasn't feeling great. He was on a long stretch that week. He just wanted to make sure he was good for the playoffs, good for the Open Championship. He says he feels fine. He didn't hit the ball amazing at the Open Championship and in Scotland, but he hasn't really performed at those courses in his career, and that's a very different type of golf. Now he's back on a golf course. He's back on Bermuda grass, which he plays at home. Has putted well on this year, actually. So I like JT. Obviously, his course history is immaculate. He's one of probably the best course history here out of everyone, especially in this range. So I'm going to go with JT and Rory's up top. I mean, JT and Scotty.
Yeah, it's a massive range. The ownership seems to be fairly spread out. I don't think anyone's going to be crazy high owned where you should really worry about it. Like the 2 highest that we have on fantasy points ownership projections are Rory at 17.4 and JT 17 flat. Even at that, I mean, that's not even near what we usually see.
I think JT is going to be over 20, but not by much, 20 to 21. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't think that's anything crazy. I will obviously be on him overweight, and I think he's going to be a good play. John Rahm just had his baby. He's at 10K flat. How you feeling about John Rahm?
I love the ownership.
It's
just for that reason, and him being 10K flat in the 7th guy in, right? 8th. Yeah. Like if you're going to get John Rahm as the lowest owned guy, sub 10%, which I think you are. Mm-hmm. It's always worth a sprinkle in a lot of the bigger GPPs. I mean, I won't touch him in a cash game. There's no reason to.
Yeah. I mean, he's still driving the ball better than anyone in the world, which is going to be a big key here. The approach is not bad, but it's not like what we've seen in the past where he was like T10ing every single week.
Yeah.
He's kind of gaining like 1 and 2 a week, which is fine. The putters seem to be back a little bit after that horrible run in the middle of the season, but he's putted bad on Bermuda this year in general. So I'm not going to be on Rahm this week. I just like JT better. And there's so many guys that you can like. Patrick Cantlay has some amazing form right now. He's not losing in any strokes gained category. He's just gaining a little bit across the board, which is like, and if he really pops in one of them, a win might be around. And we know what he did this time of year last year.
Yeah.
I'm scared of Cantlay a little bit, but I think Scotty at 14% is he's foot stall on the gas for Scotty. He wants to hold that 1 seed, get as much money as he can, and
exactly.
I mean, he's going to be the 1 seed, I think, no matter what. But he wants to get into a good position to win the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, these next 2 weeks, so there's a lot of points to be had.
Yeah, no, there is.
And I mean, like Cantlay went on that hot run last year, and it's just like you need that advantage heading into Eastlake with the way the setup is now. So, I mean, everyone's trying to get Scotty to come down from 1, obviously, because they want that advantage. That's where they're getting a lot of their money. Money's a hot topic in the golf world right now. So who doesn't want it? They probably want it more than ever. But the only one that doesn't really care is probably Cam Smith.
No, Cam Smith, and I listened to his interview yesterday. He, from a golf point of view, he was like, I love this place. Obviously, almost won last year. I feel very comfortable off the tee, which is the X factor for Cam damn near every week. Yeah. If he's comfortable off the tee, but we
talked about that all year.
They pounded him with live questions. He said, no comment. Like, I'm here to win the FedEx Cup. But I watched like every interview of every player, like every week, basically. I've never seen him like look like that. He was like very nervous and looked like very, I mean, as he should be. He knows everyone's mad at him. He looked very weird. So if he's going into the tournament with bad vibes, he knows he has a target on his back. It's hard to play golf like that. So, and he's playing with the lead already. So I don't want any Cam Smith vibes, bad vibes for me this week. I'm wearing the Cam Smith shirt just to be a little bit, just to cause some drama. It's a cool shirt though. Online on his brand's website. It's a cool penguin. I think it's sick. And I actually won the Open, so I always get a shirt after I hit an outright. So
that's fair.
So yeah, no go for Cam.
Ready for the 9K?
9K, yeah, your range.
All right, here's my range. I got a lot of exposure to 3 of these guys, and then upper 8 as well. But
yeah, I'm
all starts at Finau at $9,700. I mean,
that's a price.
There's no reason to jump off now, especially priced where he is. We have the Colonial success. His 2 wins just flawless. Like every part of his game is going like this is the Finau that I've been waiting on for years, and it's finally here. He's another guy who's pushing to get Scheffler off that top ledge, and I just don't know how they could price him at $9,700. I really don't.
Very weird. Yeah, I mean, what the 10K range is so stacked. Like, I mean, I guess they could put one more guy in there, but like, who would you take out? Like JT because he hasn't played in a while. But I feel like if you're seeing, I mean, he definitely should be over Fitz.
Personal bias. I don't know why Xander's that high.
Xander's in the same heater as Finau.
I know.
No, Xander's got to be that high. The reason Xander's that high is because he has like the highest floor out of anyone in that range.
I know. I guess I'm just so used to Xander sitting at 10 flat. But you're right. He is on the same exact wavelength as Finau, which is like you look at it from the outside in. Tony's done it more recently. I don't know, but Xander, it's hard to say. When you get this strong of a field, you're splitting hairs.
Xander hasn't finished outside the top 18 since April, so he's just like same thing with Cantlay. Like they're both just playing amazing golf right now, the Cali boys. But I'm not say
Rahm, but DraftKings has something where they will not put Rahm outside of the 10K range.
And I mean, I'm surprised he's at 10K flat, and he's got a 2 in front of his betting odds to start. It's only going down, and Rahm is blacklisted for me this season. So if he wins this week, I really like his fit this week. I mean, obviously, like especially with the driving, being in the fairway is going to be huge this week, especially with all that rain, thicker, wet, rough. I think it's going to be because these fairways are very different than any other fairways. It's like hitting off of a driving range mat, and the rough, I'm pretty sure it's Kentucky bluegrass. I could be wrong, but it's gonna be thick and wet. You don't want to be in that. And if Rahm's crushing it off the tee, I don't know where I started. We're still talking about this 10K range, but Finau makes sense. Finau makes sense.
So for me, I talked about it with Sam last night, but last 8, 12, 24, 50 rounds, 12 months, and this season, the model that I put together this week, which I throw a decent amount of stats in mine to kind of change it up, he was number 1 in every single one. Like even going back to the last 12 months. Yeah, 12 months, 2022 season, last 8 rounds, obviously. But top to bottom, and I don't think I've had that all year. It's just everything.
You can't not play that then.
I know. That was the main thing for me. Are you on anyone up here?
I'm on Will Zalatoris in 40% of my lineups, and he was like the first bet I made this week. I'm banging the drum at 30-1.
Okay.
At 365. I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain he's winning this week or next week. His first win is coming. Both of the tracks should set up perfect for him. You're getting a track where ball striking is at a premium, and it separates the good ones from the bad ones. A winning score around 15 under. That's right in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Where he can get to. He has 2 straight T21s or something at courses that are not Will Zalatoris courses at all. Wouldn't have been surprised if he missed either of those cuts. He's hitting the ball well. The X factor is if he can. We know he's going to be super long. If he can hit, I'm going to say 64% of the fairways, he wins this week. So I'm going to monitor that number. 64% fairways, he'll win.
That's fair.
That's my thing. Because I said that at Brookline, the right miss is his only concern, and it bit him in the butt on the weekend at Brookline. The right miss in the rough, it just was dead. So it's still there. He's still hitting that fade more than we usually see him hit a fade because he's usually a big drawer off the tee. But he's got a new caddy on the bag. He's putted well in Bermuda last week. So I think the vibes are high. Will Zalatoris, he's locked in, ready to get a win. So I think Will Zalatoris at 9.5 is a great play and a great bet.
All right. I don't blame you there whatsoever. You mentioned it at the top of the show, Jordan Spieth. All in on him as well. 91% or $9,100. Sorry. I hope he's not 91%. That would not be good. But back-to-back top 10s in Scotland, had the T10 at the Open, T8 at Scottish Open, gain and approach in both. Had success at TPC Southwind, top 12 in 2 of his past 3 tries here. And like you said, Colonial just has ton of success year in, year out. Had a good run this year at the Charles Schwab. I think 9,100 is an extremely fair price, especially given his recent form. Like I said, the back-to-back top 10s, and we're getting him right around 9K.
I know, I love it. I'm on him too. I love him, and I'm just so surprised how amazing he's still hitting the ball. And we know what his thing was. Like, can you just be normal, Jordan Spieth on the greens? He's gained on the greens in 5 out of 6 weeks. He hasn't had that pop week yet. Hopefully we get it. We're on Bermuda, very straightforward. Should have no problems making putts on this grass. But I just can't believe how well he's still hitting the ball. I'm hoping it carries over into next year because ball striking Jordan Spieth, we say it all the time, is a very scary sight. So I love Jordan Spieth at 9-1. Him and Zal are the only 2 guys I'll be playing in this range.
Last one I'm on, Victor.
Ick.
Ownership wise, it's looking like 13-ish. We have him at 13.43 over on fantasy points.
Yeah, I'm seeing a similar one.
I don't think it's gonna sway much from that. I mean, 10 to 15, I think is a sweet spot. Obviously, it's not anything I'm concerned about at all. But like this season, top 15 in the field and approach, ball striking, birdie or better percentage. I just like the fit and I like the price quite a bit.
Yeah, no, Victor Hovland showed some signs of life at the Open, which in hindsight makes so much sense. He's all you have to do is hit iron shots. You're not chipping at all there. So hindsight was a great play. We just couldn't get by that form. But
yep. And then I looked at the last 2 seasons, par 70s, over 7,200 yards, or that little in between range. He ranked 3rd overall in my model. So that's like Charles Schwab, Eastlake. There's a couple others that are into that bucket there, but I'm on Hovland as well. So Tony Finau, Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland for me in the 9K. Let's jump down to the
8K.
First 2 guys I'm on as well.
I'm on one. I'm on the one guy, top guy.
Morikawa?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time we got him at 8.7.
He was like 8.4 the week that he won the PGA Championship at Harding Park. And that was like the last time, I think.
I mean, it's an attractive price. Like, speaking of Colonial,
very attractive price.
Success there as well, 3 for 3. Second in his debut, T14, and then a T40 this year. The thing about his appearances at Colonial, gained over 5.5 strokes on approach in each event. So when you're doing that on a lot of these dog legs, these same bucket ranges in terms of par 3s, par 4s, par 5s, like this is where I want Morikawa. The price tag obviously speaks for itself, but
yeah,
and
the ownership's not going to be crazy like I thought it was going to be.
Back-to-back missed cuts after his T5 at the U.S. Open.
I don't care.
Open Championship, he was 5th in approach.
That's awesome to see.
I know it was 2 rounds,
awesome to see.
But when you're missing a cut, you want to see something.
Yeah, he lost on the greens. And
Yep.
back-to-back missed cuts in Scotland playing. But then the last time he played a Treeline golf course, U.S. Open, finished 5th, and he had the 3 best rounds and then blew it all on Saturday.
Yep.
So I love him, especially at this price. I bet him, too, 36-1. I mean, Colin Morikawa, we know what his ceiling is. His ceiling is number 1 player in the world. So, I'll take an 8.7 guy who's not playing to his prime, but he's not playing where I think it's like semi-concerning like we saw from Victor a few weeks ago.
Right.
I think it's okay. I'm all the way in on Colin at 8.7. I'm all the way in at 36-1.
And when you're talking about 55+% making the cut, you obviously want 6 of 6 and 6 guys who are near the top. If Morikawa is your 3rd or 4th somehow guy in, which I don't think you can really get that aggressive, but when you have Morikawa as your 3rd guy in, it just looks so much more appealing.
Yeah.
Because even when the fields are stronger like this and the pricing is soft, we rarely see him in this range. We already talked about that. And then Sam Burns as well. The ownership scares me a little bit, obviously, but it's a pretty good discount on both DraftKings and FanDuel. He was the number 1 player in my FanDuel article. He was at 10-1 over there, which is extremely soft. 3 playoff events last year, no worse than T21. Got it done there. He's another one that's up there in the FedEx Cup standings, has not fallen out of the top 10 the whole season because he had that strong fall start. Obviously, Bermuda, we talked about that. And then most recent win, Colonial. So it's an ownership thing for me. I don't know if I want to match the field or be a little shy of it, just because you can get so much leverage just going to Morikawa. I mean, it's almost 1/3 of his ownership, depending where you look. Fantasy Points right now has Sam Burns at 26.40% as the highest owned golfer on the slate, which I think he will be.
Yeah, I can't wait to fade him.
So
I'm scared of the driver. I really am.
Yeah,
he's second to last in his field in fairways gained over the last 24 rounds. And like I said, it's going to be deep rough. But if he can gain a stroke and a half off the tee, which he hasn't done since Colonial where he won, which is May, I think if he can gain a stroke and a half off the tee, he will T10 at worst. That's another bold take I'm going to say.
That's fair.
I'm off Sam Burns just because of the driver. I don't think that the driver is there for him right now, but the irons are above average with ceiling potential, and then the putter is. We don't have to talk about the putter, especially on Bermuda. Right. We know what that is.
Right.
So Sam Burns, I'm going to fade him because of the ownership, because of the driver. But if the driver's the X factor. If he can drive it well, he'll have a high finish. What
do you think his ownership comes in at tomorrow morning?
23.
I feel like it could be higher.
See, that should be our side bet.
It's tough. Anybody else here on here in the 8K?
Yeah, I'm on Sungjae and Wako.
The Wako price is so nice.
So nice. So I'm on Sungjae because I was kind of, a lot of these guys at the top haven't played in a really, really long time. So what Sungjae's done, just casual T2, get plus 6.3 ball striking, plus 10.5 ball striking, and he's putted really well. I spoke about how he has been putting poorly on Bermuda this season, which he has, but he turned it around last week, getting 4 strokes putting back in Bermuda this week. So I love him. He's one of the best total drivers of the golf ball. He ranks 3rd in total driving on the PGA Tour this season, and it is a great putter as well. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're playing amazing golf right now. 8.5 Sungjae. I'm not really too scared of the ownership. I'm surprised it's not higher than it is. So Sungjae was the 4th bet I made at 38-1, I think. So I'm on Sungjae this week.
Speaking of Bermuda, Lowry could not have putted worse last week on it.
It was objectively horrible. And what's that? I think it's 6 straight weeks he's lost on the greens, 5 or 6. He's done that one other time in his career. I think it was a 6 straight losing streak. So, but I love him in the tee to green part of things.
Yeah.
But the putter has been bad ever since the RBC Canadian. When I was on him, I was like, how is he putting this bad? And then I don't know.
The thing I was looking at with Lowry, his 3 attempts at St. Jude finished no worse than 30th. Lost strokes on the greens every single time.
It's not a good sign.
Getting it done from tee to green and approach, which it's enough, but I don't think I want to fully rely on that. It's a great price. And obviously with me and Lowry, it's going to be hard to fade. I will have some. He fits into a lot of lineups pretty nicely. Same thing for Neiman. What?
Yeah, I like Neiman this week. He's ball striking it awesome right now. In his trip last year to this event, he gained 4 strokes on the green. So if Joaquin Neiman's getting 4 strokes putting, he says his favorite grass is Bermuda. The stats don't say that, but if we're getting something he's comfortable on, he plays at the Bears Club, which is Bermuda in Florida. So he's been home practicing, I would assume, possibly going to live, maybe one more go at it before. I don't know. I like Joaquin Neiman, especially at 8-1.
Agree.
I couldn't fit him in the betting card, but I love him in DFS.
Ready to get into the sevens?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 7K range. It doesn't really drop off a whole lot from here.
No, it doesn't.
I like what I saw from Hatton quite a bit.
Yeah, that was very impressive last week. But
not sure I'm exactly getting there. St. Jude history has been a little bit shaky in a lot of areas. I think the price is attractive, but not exactly going to get there. At the very top, I would rather play Davis Riley, but my first guy in is Seabez. 4 straight cuts made.
I'm on Seabez too.
4 straight cuts. T2 at the John Deere, obviously. 10th in the field over the last 2 years on Bermuda greens. Looking at Colonial, T15 at Charles Schwab, top 10 in approach. Exactly what we're looking for.
The Bermuda has been amazing. I
don't think he's going to be popular whatsoever.
No, he's not. And I was debating between Seabez or Wise, and I love what I saw from Seabez. I was on him last week. He didn't do horrible, nothing crazy, but I'm the first guy in for me in this range is who else but Russell Henley, my guy.
Good price.
Yeah, good price. And what has he done from
fair, though. Yeah,
what has he done from having a baby and taking that all that time off? +7 ball striking, +11 ball striking. I don't know how he only lost 0.3 strokes putting last week because I watched a lot of the weekend broadcast. My boy put everything to inside of 5 feet and missed them all. I'm not even kidding. If anyone in the comments watched that broadcast, he missed so many putts inside 5 feet. And I wasn't on him, so I wasn't tilted or anything, but it was just hilarious. I feel like there's just no way he can putt this bad for as long as he can. But even though he hasn't gained on the greens, he hasn't gained a full stroke on the green since the Players. And Bermuda, okay, that's a sign. And Bermuda is his best surface by far, but he's still putting horribly. Yeah. JT lost putting here. That's a motivation. He was my first guy in the 7K range. Last guy bet at 75-1. I will take that and run with a 75-1 Russell Henley ticket.
Anyone else in the mid to upper sevens that you're on outside of Bez and Henley?
Cam Davis. I'm on Cam Davis as my at the bottom. I was doing a deep dive on someone the other day. I forget who it was, and I was reading these stats. I'm like, oh, he's so good, 125 to 150. Oh my God, 150 to 175, 175 to 200. He's amazing in all these bucket ranges. And I was thinking it was someone else. I might have been Davis Riley. Then I looked at the top. I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at Cam Davis's profile at $600 cheaper. I forget who I was thought I was looking for. So then I looked at his recent form and all this. I was like, wow, Cam Davis has no finish worse than 16th in the last month and a half.
Yeah.
7-2. He's putting it good. So I'm all the way in on Cam Davis, 7-2. And it was an accidental deep dive.
Sometimes that's the best thing.
Yeah. So let's go Cam Davis. I'm not on him as heavy as I probably would like to because every single time I play Cam Davis, I follow his shot tracker, and he's got 160 in the middle of the fairway, somehow walks off with a double bogey because he just makes dumb mistakes, but he's just and then the next hole he'll put it to 3 feet, from the same distance. So
yeah,
I went a little bit less, but I'm higher than the field. He's not going to be crazy owned down here. So Cam Davis is my final guy in the 7K range. Anyone down here for you?
My largest bet is a top 40. +120 Scott Stallings.
Form is insane.
$7,100. He's plus 120 on DraftKings this morning, at least, when I threw it into the best bets on fantasy points. 2 top 40. Obviously, if you're getting good top 40 numbers, I know this is a DFS show for the most part, but we throw betting in there every now and then. If you're getting great top 40 numbers on guys that you like or guys that you're taking a stand on this week, it's the time to do it because of how many guys make the cut. And there's a lot of guys in really good form who you're getting plus money on. And
how about Max McGreevy last week?
Good call. Wasn't he like 6-1 for a top 40 or something? 5?
Yeah, 6-1 top 40. I ended up sprinkling that top 20 at like 14-1 when we looked at it.
Yeah.
T5. I should have put him on the betting card. Max McGreevy. That was a big one from us last week.
Good for him. That was. But with Scott Stallings, like you said, the form is insane. 4 straight top 15 finishes. Last 2 months, ranks inside the top 5 in ball striking and approach in this field, which is insane. Made 5 of his last 6 cuts at TPC Southwind. Looking at Colonial, T4 a couple months ago.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Scott Stallings is –
because he was jumping out in terms of recent form, and then when I went and looked at the Colonial leaderboard, I was like, well – kind of the last thing that I needed to see. So
yeah.
Adam Long as well withdrew last week after the first round with an illness. I would assume he's okay. If it's illness, I'm not really going to weigh too much into that at 7K, but last 2 months leads the field in scrambling, top 5 in par 4 from 450 to 5 and good drives gained. Prior to his withdrawal, Long had 4 straight top 25 finishes, was just playing steady golf, including a top 6 or a T16 at the 3M where he was 4th in approach and like 6th or 7th in tee to green. So I know that Long can get hot with the putter. I think 7K flat is extremely fair, and he will be probably my last guy in the 7s.
What's he, 7-1?
7 flat.
7 flat. Okay, yeah. I think it's a good price, good call.
Anybody else down here for you?
No, it's just Cam for me. Cam, Russell, and who's the other one? Bez for me.
All right. Let's get into the 6K range, round it out. Towards the top, I don't have a whole lot of exposure. Tom Hoagie, I think, is interesting. Led the field at the 3M, where he finally found some form. I mean, he was horrible for 4 straight events, but irons were on fire in Minnesota. Gained over 10 strokes on approach, led the field, top 5 finish. Finally back into form, another guy who can make somewhat of a push here in the FedEx Cup playoffs since he was hot early on. Are you on anybody up this way?
Yeah, I'm on Chesson Hadley at
love it.
He's at 6'4", but he's my second guy, and I've read that wrong. My first guy is Alex Smalley. Great price for a guy who is one of the best tee to green players literally in the past 3 months. I said last week how at the Wyndham he's obviously a member, and he had an awesome finish in his debut there, and he ball struck it poorly. What did he do? He ball struck it better, not to his standards, but he still hit it well, and he rates out awesome in these bucket ranges. He's putted great on Bermuda his last few appearances, which is I think I don't know if the numbers say that. No, it is. It is his best surface by far. So Alex Smalley back in Bermuda is 6'8". I think he, of course, that rewards good tee to green play, good ball striking. I like Alex Smalley.
Yeah, Hadley was one of the guys in my final guy in my FanDuel picks. He was $600 above minimum, so very similar. Middle of May, he was outside the top 200 in the FedEx Cup standings.
Wow.
Made 7 of his last 8 cuts, which I feel like you were on over half of those. I will say, once he started trending in that direction, 4 top 10s, like the form is insane. I like what he did at Wyndham last week. It's a really good price. So I will be on Hadley as well. Sprinkles, just running through quick picks. Merritt, I will be on again.
Merritt popped for me. I'm not getting there, but he was popped for me. I was like, well, this is weird. I think it was the off the tee stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is. His off the tee is still trending that way because it was
like first at 3M. I think it was 3M or one of those events. He like led the field and off the tee, which is like insane.
He had a career high day. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was 3M, 5.5 strokes off the tee, and then went on at the Rocket Mortgage to gain 3.5.
Yeah.
Lost strokes lost strokes putting in both events. Hasn't lost since end of March before those two. So he can do anything. I said that last time when I had Merritt at the Rocket Mortgage. I said if he can putt at all, and he didn't, he still finished in the top 15.
Yeah, this is
so everything's going for him. How do you feel about Taylor Moore?
He is hitting the ball at a crazy rate, and he is trending out amazing finishes. He was one of the guys I circled in my 6K show on Monday, and I was like, yeah, Taylor Moore should be a good play down here. Didn't get there for no reason. I was one with other guys, but I do like.
You just
Taylor
don't
Moore.
like him. Just say it.
I don't know. I don't not like him. Only guy I don't like is like Chesson Hadley and.
You actually don't like Chesson Hadley?
No, or Cameron Tringale, but I like playing them in fantasy golf. I don't like their antics on the golf course.
That's fair.
But so you're on Taylor Moore. Is it just because how good?
Yeah, I'll sprinkle
right
the recent form. I've been on him a couple of those weeks. He's cashed some pretty decent lineups at near min price. He's pushed up a little bit, but he's still extremely affordable. Who else we got down here?
I am on Hayden Buckley. I think Hayden Buckley is my pick to make the cut at plus odds if that's a game share that we're doing. Hayden Buckley hasn't lost strokes off the tee since the Valero Texas Open on April 3rd. So he's doing it with his irons too. 2 straight events gaining over 4. He had a bad Wyndham. He withdrew, but he putted well on Bermuda, and I think that Hayden Buckley is a difficult conditions guy. I've been saying it the past few weeks, but he's been trending in good form wherever he's been playing. So I like Hayden Buckley to play out of the fairway a lot this week, which is going to be a very big benefit to your lineups. And 6'3", I think he is. 6'3". I think Hayden Buckley is a good play down in this range.
Rocket Mortgage, he finished T24, was 3rd in good drives gained, hit just a ton of greens. Top 5 in greens and reg as well. And you already mentioned the off the tee stuff. So I like Buckley. He popped up a lot for me as well. Outside of that,
when they're both on
obviously
Buckley,
Ricky Fowler's a lock at 64.
Lock.
Not going to get into that.
I got one more guy, and it's Roger Sloan. I mean, I don't know why it's Roger Sloan. It's Sam Ryder. Roger Sloan just ingrained in my brain. Yeah. Sam Ryder, he's a guy that's kind of tough to predict, I will say.
Yeah.
Made his last 2 cuts, and he just does it in spotty ways where he gains off the tee, gains on approach. He's putted the last 2 weeks really well. Putted really well. Almost 5 strokes on approach. I mean, on a putting last week. He rates out well in these bucket ranges, better than he does in the wedge ranges. So I like him with the iron or mid-iron in his hand. He's not too accurate with the driver, but he gained last week. So I wouldn't call, I've been very precise calling these 6K gems, 6K min-price gems with Wolf and McGreevy last week. I do not think Sam Ryder is a 6K gem, but I think Sam Ryder is a viable option over whoever, Ryan Brehm or someone else down if you have to play a min-price guy. Yeah, out of all the min-price guys, I think I'm not on McGreevy this week. I don't think McGreevy's a good play. I think Sam Ryder is the best bet in the 6K flat range.
I can't believe McGreevy backdoored his way into the FedEx Cup playoffs.
T5? Come on, birdieing 18? Let's go.
Insane.
T5 was like 90-1.
Yeah. Which was fair.
Yeah.
He hadn't shown much.
No. He's like 105, I think.
You're the McGreevy whisperer now.
Everyone keeps calling me that. I'm like,
I know.
Stop on that.
Before we move on from the 6K, if you had to guess on fantasy points, who's the highest owned golfer? And he's at the very top in this range.
Oh, the highest owned golfer, like out of everyone or in the range?
6K. Near the top.
Okay, not JJ Spawn.
No.
Brandon Wu.
Lucas Herbert. 9.4.
He's literally gonna miss the cut.
9.4%. And then going down a little bit, some of the higher owned guys on fantasy points, Sepp Straka 3.64 and Doug Gim 3.91 in the
I can get down with Doug Gim for sure. When you get a chance to look at Sepp Straka's profile, it is scary how bad he's been playing since he won. He lost 9 shots ball striking last week. 9. Like, how do you even do that?
How did he steal that win from Lowry? That's what I'm more pissed about.
No, because it rained. It thunderstormed on 18 while
on the tee box.
While Sepp just had hit his drive, 330, striked it.
Yep.
Then the worst rainstorm ever came, and I was standing in the middle of it, and it basically just summed up my day watching Berger implode, and I had the Berger ticket, and then Shane Lowry had no chance because he had to like hit literally the worst.
Were you there?
I was there, yeah.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, I almost cried on 18 because I had Berger first round leader on Thursday. He hit the green in 2 on 18, did not 3-putt to lose that by 1. And then obviously Sunday he gagged it away. So that was just a rough week for me as a Berger backer.
Yeah. It was all pointing in Lowry's direction. And then that rain started. I was like, this could not be real.
It was
Nightmare.
Tough scene.
We won't talk about the Honda Classic. That's no one's gonna remember that anyway. Sepp Straka won. So
in his Squares shoes, sponsored by Nick Faldo.
Side bet.
Yeah, side bet.
Who picked last week?
What
was last week, by the way?
Side bet? I don't remember. I really don't. But I think our side bet should be Will projecting ownership on who was it? No. Oh, Sam Burns. I'll over under 23. I'll take under. You take over.
Okay, deal.
Okay,
that works.
Side bet.
All right.
Don't worry, guys. Once the season rolls around next week, we're going to actually put money on this and track it like heavily.
Yeah, 2022, 2023. We'll have a spreadsheet.
Yes, for sure.
That way we won't forget any of these. So thank you for tuning in again to the final points. 2 more weeks of the playoffs after this. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.